Welcome to Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome, and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, congratulations on the Buccaneers OTAs as they've successfully completed them. This is a non-mandatory OTA over at One Buck Place. Almost everyone was there. Those who were rehabilitating injuries, Chris Godwin, a.k.a. Hassan Reddick, and a couple others didn't make the actual voluntary OTAs, but 99% of them did make the OTAs. Went out there and ran through some plays with some of the new players, undrafted free agents and free agents, and the guys from last year that's still on the team. And at least they ran through the playbooks and got to know each other a little bit, assimilating with each other. Threw a few passes at our number one pick, Baker Mayfield did, Kyle Trask, and got a little bit of reps with some of the players. Again, now it's over, and it will get ready for the July mandatory training camp at the end of June and first part of July. And then, of course, we'll break for about 3 weeks and come back for the real, quote-unquote, training camp leading into the season. That's about what's going on over there. Some of the players that we have drafted, the Walker kid from Arkansas, Shiloh Sanders, Abuka, and some others got praised by the coaches for what little they did. They seemed to get out there and assimilate real fast and get into the swing of the speed of the game. And it's kind of good to get some of the veterans from last year and some of these NFL veterans, because the one thing that they say that's all different from college to pro is the speed. So everybody's got speed at this level. So these players that have made teams, they can kind of get out there with them and see what the speed of the game is. And they say that's the biggest change from college to pro, is how fast the game moves, how fast the players all are. And anyhow, this is why the veterans being at these just voluntary mini camps is good, because they can add that to the mix and maybe get them another. This is going to be a mandatory training camp, OTAs they call them, in June and July. That'll be a 7-day mandatory mini camp. And then the end of July, middle of July, some in that neighborhood, becomes the real training camp that everybody mandatorily has to be at. So they're kind of bitting it out. And that's about it. There were no injuries during training camp, no heated altercations between anybody in mini camp. So it went over real good. I think they came through it real well. I didn't hear of anybody in any of the 32 teams having any injuries in this. And every one of them had this voluntary mini camp. And I hadn't heard of anything that really happened out of the way at any of the camps. Anybody getting injured or misstepping and having an ankle twist or anything like that. Nothing from any camp. So primarily the whole program went over pretty good for the NFL. And that's about all going on in the NFL as of today. Again, the Aaron Rodgers saga continues. Again, Aaron Rodgers hadn't came to say that I'm going to play for sure or I'm going to retire or whatever I'm going to do. But I know that here when we get to this mandatory OTA camp that they'll all do the same as the Bucs. I'm sure that at that moment the Pittsburgh Steelers will say either you're in or you're out. Either you're in or you're out, because now this is mandatory. Now you're either in or you're out. Because if you ain't in by now, in the 3 weeks we go to training camp, you ain't in. We've given you long enough from way back in February till now, okay? So we'll see what goes on with Aaron Rodgers. Other than that, no big news in the NFL. Nothing earth-shattering. Nothing that's going to stop the press as far as the NFL is concerned. The schedules are out. The players are all in. The free agents are all in. The unrestricted free agents have all been signed. All we got to do now is just wait on the calendar. And that's about all going on in professional football this week. We move on to the Tampa Bay Rays. They're on a winning streak. They won 6 straight. They've lost a couple there in Houston. They went 2-2 with the Astros. They came back last night at Georgetown Brenner Field and beat the Texas Rangers. They're 3 games above 500. They're playing pretty good baseball. Their offense has nights where they score a little bit less than the 5 runs. Now, when they score 5 runs or more, they have about a 90% chance of winning. And they really have been playing real well, the Tampa Bay Rays, for the roster that they have. They're playing real good. Congratulations on Rasmussen, Pepio. Everybody's pitching pretty well. No major injuries to speak of since the last show. Jack Lowe, we said last show was back. He's still back. No injuries of any sort. No players on the comeback. The Korean Kim that we got from San Diego, the big free agent acquisition, highest paid player on the team. I think in another week and a half or so, he should be up with the big leagues team as far as getting out there, starting to play a little bit. They said it would be May he would be back, and of course we're in June, so he's not back yet. But he's on his way back. About the middle of this month, I think you'll see Kim out there at shortstop. So other than that, nothing much happening as far as any injuries of major concern of the Tampa Bay Rays. They're second place in the division behind the Yankees. I think the Blue Jays and the Rays are pretty close on a record. The Red Sox are in fourth place, and as the shooting of this show, the Baltimore Orioles in last place in the division. Got a long way to go still in baseball, and we'll keep you posted next week's show what actually happened this last week in baseball, if there's anything monumental that took place. As far as the Tampa Bay Lightning, no news is always good news. No real great news of any kind with the Lightning, of course, as the season is over. And now it's the Florida Panthers, and it's the Edmonton Oilers for the Stanley Cup, which we don't have any dog in that fight, either though the Florida Panthers are out of Sunrise down in Miami. But not good, great friends with the Tampa Bay Lightning. But the Stanley Cup is beginning this week, so tune that in as far as any of your Lightning fans or hockey fans in general that want to see the Stanley Cup. We'd have liked to have been there, but we wasn't, and until next year. That's about it for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Moving on to NASCAR, we had the Coca-Cola race and Memorial Day weekend, and it was a great race, and it was run by Florida native Ross Chastain from Alva, Florida. The watermelon man, they call him, because after the race, he gets up on top of the car and throws a watermelon down to the ground. His mother and father and himself on a large watermelon farm down in Ava, Florida, down near Fort Myers. And he is a professional race driver, and won the Coca-Cola race on Memorial Day weekend, which is a great race to have won the Crown Jewel race. And congratulations, he started the race in the last position on the grid and came back and won it. This is your NASCAR news. As far as the Memorial Tournament, Scotty Scheffler won the tournament, beat Ben Griffin, who came in second in a tough match, but Ben had the first 3 rounds, and Scotty came back in round 3 and 4 and took again another victory for Scotty Scheffler. That's what went on in the PGA over Memorial Day weekend. And now the next race this week will be in Kansas, and the PGA tournament will be up in Canada at the Royal Canadian. And then after this weekend's tournament for the PGA, it will be the U.S. Open, which is a major championship for you golfers out there. So that's what's going on with your PGA. That's about what's going on in the sports of the world of any substance, except for the NBA. We don't want to leave them out, especially in the finals. The Oklahoma Thunder will play the Indiana Pacers for the NBA championship. And that will start tonight. I think it's the shooting of this show about 8 o'clock tonight. The Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be a tough series. Both teams are explosive. Both teams are good. Both teams are deserving. And both teams are there. So we'll see who wins the first 4 out of the 7 and see how long that series goes. But it'll be good basketball. That'll be tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. shooting after this show. Just go to any local station. You'll be able to find it. I don't know if I know it's on ESPN for sure. I don't know what the networks will have it, either Fox, NBC, or ABC. If I was to guess, it would probably be NBC, but I'm not going to say. Check your local listings and find out where that game will be tonight for the NBA Finals. And so that's about all we got in sports. We pretty much covered every bit of it. Now we're going to go to our questions of this week. And the first question this week was, what did I think about Baker Mayfield at the training OTAs as far as what the press that was covering him thought? They thought he did real well. He acclimated the new receivers. He was joyous. He was a leader. He went out and shook hands, patted people on the back. He's a leader, in his actions. And by being a leader in his actions, he's a leader on the field. And so he did a real good job. No injuries. And great rapport with the new receivers. Got a few passes off to him. Great regard, for what they were doing. It's about all you can say. It wasn't an actual scrimmage against anybody. And it wasn't in pads, and it wasn't physical contact. So for what it was, he did real good. God bless you, and thank you for your question. The next question It's from Donald, and Donald wanted to know what I thought about the Rays' chances of making the playoffs this year. Donald, myself and GJX both thought that the Rays probably wouldn't make the playoffs because of the lack of their offense, and we went real deep into the Rays' offensive problems, and their pitching which was good. We thought that would still be good, and it is. And when the offense is clicking, they do win. They're about 5 games behind the New York Yankees, and we're a quarter of a way through this season. So we have 162 games. We're about 55 games in right now. So we've got a long ride to go, and things can go either way. But right now they're in second position, and they're 5 games out, which is not many games. It is in football, but it isn't in baseball with 162 games. With 162 games, and you've got about 110 of them left, and you're only 5 games back, anything can happen. I think the Rays need to keep working on their hitting, and if they continue to work on their hitting and can consistently play as good as they did on their pitching, they could possibly get a wild card spot or win that division. But on the other side of that, things could go bad just as fast. We'll just have to stay tuned. For right now, I don't consider them a powerhouse offense, but I do consider them a great pitching staff. They have the leadership under Kevin Cash. I think they have the ability, possibly, if all things went right for them, to make the playoffs. But I didn't predict it at the first of the season, and right now I'm not predicting it either. God bless you. Thank you, Donna. And the last question is from Tammy, and Tammy wanted to know who the Bucks played the first regular season game this year, and do I think that they would win? And Tammy, the answer to that question, in the first regular season game of next year's season of the Buccaneers, they will play the Atlanta Falcons, which is a nemesis in their division, one of their biggest nemesis, Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina. But they will be in a real dogfight against Atlanta. Atlanta knows them as good as anybody could know them. And they know they're the biggest threat to winning the division again. And the Falcons have got a good squad, a good team, and they have good players. So it's going to be a tough game. I'm going with the Bucks winning against the Falcons in game 1. You're not going to have anybody get any kind of bulletin board material to get them up for this game. And you ain't going to have that in Atlanta. Because this is your arch rival in your division. And you're going to play him game 1. So you play him twice a year. And they are the perennial favorite besides us winning that division. So it's a statement game for us and statement game for them. It'll be a good game, but I've got the Bucks winning the game. God bless you, Tammy, and thank you for your question. Until next show, I want you to continue to send these questions, and even the football questions, even though the season's not really here. You want to send a golf question. You want to send a basketball question. Go ahead and send the questions in the comments to the show where we can answer your questions. Continue to share with your friends this show and give us as many views as you can, because we need your support to continue with the show. And until next show, lift up another when you get a chance. It's not a hand out, it's a hand up. And make one. We need it in this world. We need it after we've seen what happened even this last Sunday. We need it. We need it. Until next show, God bless you. Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?